Hey, how's it going, guys? Captain Kuba here, and welcome to, I think it's podcast number 10, I believe. Anyway, welcome. We have here with us, I actually don't know your name. I know your username, Laurits Rask. Is that your actual name?
Yes, it's Laurits Rask, but it's
There
like
we
an
go.
old Danish name, so it's kind of hard to pronounce if you're not Danish, I
Right.
think. But
Yeah.
Laurits
For those
Rask,
of you who
yep.
don't know, he's the winner of the art contest I hosted a couple days ago. He made this art I'm gonna be showing it on the screen right now. It depicts Kratos, Atreus, and Tyr fighting Fenrir. What was your thought behind that? What was your what inspired you to make that piece?
It's just something I really want to see, like because I think Fenrir is kind of, or not kind of, it's just a super interesting creature because it's like the son of Loki and all that. And also because it's really like it's a wolf, but it's really relatable. Like it's a character. It's not just an animal.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at you over here. Maybe I should put you over here. So like it's like an animal, but it has like a real personality, and it's like it has like one good relationship, and that's with Tyr. But then Tyr has to kind of offer the arm for it to like the whole mythology story. But I think it's just gonna be really cool to see.
Right.
So,
And
I
what
just thought-
was your experience with the whole art contest in general? Have you ever entered one before? What was it like?
Yeah, I did like League of Legends hosted an art contest last year in February, which is like a little bit more than a year ago, and that was also cool. I also won that one, and that was pretty cool also.
You also won it?
Yeah, actually, they like. Sorry.
Do you have the image with you? Can you show it to us? Like, do you have it on, or would it be too
Sure,
hard to
yeah.
get?
No, I have it right here.
That's
Yeah, so the prompt was to do like a character from League, and because they were like expanding their IPs, and yeah, like they made like one of each kind of game. It seems like so they made like a card game, I think, and
right.
something, and then so we should do like a character from League, and then a character from one of the other ones. So I chose the penguin, and
That's
because
cool.
Udyr is like a character that's like like a shamanistic warrior kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like he can take on animal stances. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
the character, but and then I just did like a kung fu panda kind of thing. So it's like the penguin is teaching Udyr how to do penguin stance,
That's
and
cool.
then they
man.
liked it.
Well,
Yeah, it was really fun. And then
well, congratulations
I won
on winning another art contest, man.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
And there's like
yeah.
so this art contest was so like because I had planned on doing like a God of War, like a big piece for God of War because I love that universe. And I did the Atreus piece. I think you saw the one with the Spartan Rage.
That was just for fun. That wasn't a contest. or
Yeah,
anything
that was like a 2-day thing, and I think Matt Sofas even saw it, or I know that he saw it and he liked it, like the narrative director for God of War. I was like, whoa, like he saw that and he liked it. It was amazing. So I wanted to do something bigger, and then this art contest came up, and I thought I might participate.
Yeah. Hey, do you mind closing the share screen thing so we can go back to the normal grid? There we go. There we go. So yeah, that's really cool, man. Did you feel any pressure at all? Like, what did you think the competition was gonna be like? What did you think of the other entries in general?
I didn't really know who your like I don't know if your like your demographic of viewers is like artists or if it's like mainly gamers, but I guess there's like people everywhere. Like I think I watched your video when I wanted to catch up on the other games or something. Like I just Googled like God of War lore.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting that many professional artists to enter. I was thinking of it just being like a cool community thing. It's like, oh, you send in your drawings and then we talk about them. Right? But people actually took it seriously. Like, oh, this is awesome, dude. Because my biggest inspiration for the art contest was Vati Vidya. I don't even know how to pronounce his YouTube channel. He's
the Dark Souls guy, right?
Yeah, I'm him for the God of War series, and he does like the Dark Souls guy, like he does the lore and all that, right? He's a big inspiration. Like, dude, I would love to do an art contest for the God of War series, and I'm glad people like you and Haydar and a lot of like professional artists entered, dude.
Yeah, Haydar, was he the one with the Freya piece?
Dude, that was a hard one because he really focusing on all the details, like the blood, the cuts, like it's very. He does.
I am like amazed how much like time he put into that. Like usually when you do something like that, you'll kind of try and simplify it. But he just went like hard in the paint and just did it all.
Yeah,
it must have taken us such a long time, but it's like it really paid off. It's such a great piece.
Yeah. It was a really tough call for me, But essentially, I went with yours because it was more of a scene. It's like, oh, then this like your piece is telling a story. It's like, oh, Kratos is telling Atreus to do something. Tyr's doing something in the background. It's like everywhere you look, there's just something interesting happening, right?
Yeah.
So,
thanks for saying that. Like that was the like kind of the like because we saw Atreus like develop as a person and like kind of growing up in a way in the first game, and I loved seeing that development because that's something we can like kind of relate to. But in this piece that I made, I just wanted to I wanted to show that Atreus was like competent and like I made Kratos like pretty small in the image because like they're more equal now than they were in the beginning of the first game.
Yeah, Atreus is the centerpiece. And I wanted to ask you, like, what I said in the video, was that right at all, or was that just my ignorant ass not knowing anything about art? The whole unfocused thing, like, was that what you were trying to do?
It's like kind of, it's pretty much spot on. It's like the human eye kind of focuses on hard edges.
Oh, okay.
So if you're hunting, like I think it's called the fovea. That's where where you're looking. That's the area of highest detail.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at me right now, my guitars are probably out of focus. If you're looking here,
right.
So that's kind of the effect. And I want you to look at the wolf. So everything else is kind of blurred. So you were like pretty much spot on.
Dude, it was brilliant. I freaking loved it, man.
That's cool.
And I see in the background, you already showed me, but could you bring the Thor painting you have in the background? Because
for sure.
That looks sick, man. It's an oil painting, but
yes,
it's
and acrylics also.
Yeah, I was telling him that he added the gold on his armor, and like, dude, it looks beautiful. It really does.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I did it like I think it was like a year and a half ago, where I was like doing a lot of oil paintings, and it's such a hard medium because now we paint everything on the PC because it's just quicker. Because oil, you have to wait for it to dry, and that can take like 2 weeks. And then I just like I'm vibing with the painting, and then I have to wait. So it's like a timeout.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I didn't know you did oil paintings as well. So do you prefer the oil paintings or the digital ones? What medium do you prefer?
It's absolutely digital because it's so quick and you can do like changes. Like if I can't change. Like if I wanted to change this painting to like orange for any reason, I could just like press a button on the PC. But here I'd have to like start over, you know.
So with the digital one, obviously it gives you more.
Absolutely.
More versatile.
Exactly. Yeah, and also, but the cool thing with oils is that you can, like all the work I've done the last 2 years is just like on a hard drive, and I can't see what I've done unless I open the file on the PC, right? But here I just have it when I'm done. It's just there, and I could like sell it if somebody wanted to buy it also. So that's also a plus.
Cool. Is that because you're now in school studying art, or are you studying something else? It's
a school in Denmark called. Yeah, sure. So it's like a school in Denmark called the Animation Workshop. So it's I'm in like there are 3 classes. One called character animation, and then graphic storytelling and computer graphics, and I'm on the computer graphics thing. So we're learning like this program called Maya, where you like 3D model.
That's like the one. I'm pretty sure Raf uses that. I heard them talking about
apps. Like they use all kinds of stuff. I think Raf uses a lot of ZBrush probably because he's like there's box modeling where you have like very primitive shapes and then you kind of extrude and move things around very meticulously. But with ZBrush, it's much more like sculpting with clay. Like much more organic, and he's a character artist mainly, I think. So that's ZBrush.
Yeah.
But I think
Maya. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like I think it's just Maya is like much more for like robots if you want to do that.
Right.
That kind of stuff. So.
And what's kind of like the end goal here? Like, would you want to work for a video game company? Like, what would you, as an artist, what would be like the absolute dream?
It's probably like I also have like I don't know if you know The Witcher. But I have
I know The Witcher.
Yeah, so that's I'm a huge fan of The Witcher, and it kind of like that was in 2018 where I discovered that, and I thought illustration is really cool, but I also like you can't really scale it as a business, you know, like you can sell a painting and then you can sell a painting and then you can sell a painting, right? And that's fine. Like I love illustration, but I'd also love to do like games. Like I think what Raph is doing is so cool, and he can like whip out like a 3D. Like character in like he can do it really quick because he's amazing.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm hoping to learn at the school because like making a game and like telling a story that's really like you can. I love being Geralt when you're in Witcher 3 because you can like select what you want to say and like explore that universe.
Right.
And also God of War like.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really attracts people to the Witcher series is just playing that character how you want him to be, you know, like how you
exactly.
play it. Yeah.
Yes.
So God of War as a series, like what draws you to it from an art point of view? Like what's your, I don't know, what's like your favorite setting? Like what's something that you see different from other games? If you do, if you don't, it's fine. Just what draws you artistically towards that series?
I think I really like that it's very, like the style is obviously realism, so they're trying to like approximate reality pretty much. Like, and obviously there are like fantasy elements like the Jormungandr, like the Midgard serpent.
Yeah.
Obviously, so that's all in magic. It's so like it's so fun. And then you have games like, what should I say? Like WoW, and like much more stylized characters, like Fall Guys. And I just really like. I've always really liked realism.
Yeah.
But God of War is just, the story is just so real in it. I love that the director Corey, like he drew so much on his own life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what made it so real. Like the story is just so, like you see a lot of stories where it's just kind of like, it seems like somebody had like an idea, maybe like an agenda even, and they just wanted to paint that picture, but it wasn't really authentic. But God of War 2018 was just through and through, so it's like real, and I love that.
I don't really remember if it was God of War 2's art book or God of War 2018's, but there's a part of that's all about how God of War has a special aesthetic that cannot be. The guidelines are there for a reason, right? And the artist kept bringing back a drawing of a character, and Corey sent it back because he's like, no, this is too horror. God of War kind of falls into the, like you said, realism and mythology. It's like serious, but it's not horror, cosmic horror, or anything like that. Because originally they wanted to do the character of Ares as the first God of War into a shadowy figure, I think, like a mist type of things. Like, yeah, it's cool, but that feels more like with Bloodborne games, I guess. God of War needs to be more of a physical character, right? Just
exactly, yeah. It's like one of the things I remember hearing. I don't know if it was like in another interview or if it was in the Racing Kratos documentary, but when they did the concept art for Kratos for this game, it was like he saw somebody do like a concept art of Kratos with just like an axe, like a regular old axe, and Corey was just like, we have to have that. And then I think they like, you have the Leviathan axe behind you there, and then like toward the end game, I see somebody in the background.
Oh my God! What?
I was trying to be quiet.
He saw you. I heard a bag in the. I'm like, hey, what is she doing? Like, can she be quiet? But you were. Was you dragging yourself?
Yeah.
All right, Connor. He made a cameo. That's my.
That's cool.
What? You just brought me apples?
Yeah, it was the apple you didn't finish from earlier.
Thank you.
I'm
gonna. She's saying I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave this in. Don't worry. This is too funny.
Well, I peeped in the first time. Were you still doing a sound test?
No, I'm recording now.
Okay. Well, see, now I feel bad.
That's okay.
You were just in there. I said, you're doing a sound test.
No, I said I'm gonna start now, but it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was me.
Do you mind if I get back to it?
Sorry. Okay, you got it.
That's okay.
It's good.
All right. What were we talking about?
We're talking about the axe. Like he said that he really wanted like just a normal wood chopping axe, but just because like it feels good in a game when you get to upgrade your weapon.
Yeah.
So in the end you will have like a huge golden like blade on the axe and all that, and that's fine. But it's still like the essence of like a normal axe is still in the Leviathan axe, and I love that. It's so real.
Yeah. That whole thing of the axe changing is something they pretty much brought back from God of War 1, I want to say. God of War 1, you had the Blades of Chaos, and they would start off very plain. And as you level them up, like, the design would change. And no other game did that after that, I'm pretty sure. The Blades of Exile stayed the same. God of War 2018 was the first one, I think, that brought back that thing of, like, you see the axe change with every level up. And it makes it look really cool at the end.
Yeah. Did you say the Blades of Exile?
Yeah, the Blades of Chaos are the one from God of War 1. The Blades of Exile are God of War 3.
Oh, shit, I didn't know. Or sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
No, it's okay. There's a whole thing with the blades, like whether some people don't understand the controversy. I do. The Blades of Chaos were lost in God of War 1. This is confirmed by people in Santa Monica Studios, and then Athena gave him the blades of Athena, I'm pretty sure. And then in God of War 3, she turned the Blades of Athena into the Blades of Exile. So there's two theories that Athena turned the Blades of Chaos. Kratos never lost them in God of War 1. She picked him up and turned them into the Blades of Athena, and so on. I'm on the side that's like, no, this is a mystery. Ares took them back. You know, we don't know how the blades got back in God of War 2018, right? That's
Right.
But Santa Monica hasn't confirmed it yet. I honestly think they put in the blades thinking people weren't gonna notice or something,
Right.
and now they have to. Thanks to me, they have to find a lore reason for it now. Because like, no, this is a contradiction, and you know it.
Right. They have to fix that.
Yeah.
But it's like there's that one clip in that same documentary where there's like a cinematic for this game that came out in 18 that they never finished. You know, like he's running through a cave and then he has a torch in front of his head to hide that he has a beard and he's different.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and he's like, we have like keep up, we have a long journey ahead or something.
Yeah.
And then Atreus was supposed to hop through, but I think it was because they didn't have the concept for Atreus finished at that point.
It was very early on, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, so early on that it actually, that whole scene takes place in Egypt. It was back when Corey was still deciding whether it was going to take place in Egypt or Norse mythology. So it's just it's really interesting God of War history there. It's like, oh, the teaser you're seeing, it actually takes place in Egypt. Like they're in an Egyptian cave. So
that is cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of Egypt, like, would you like to see Egypt next? Like, artistically, how would you think that realm would look? Like, how? Yeah, because Norse mythology is more secluded, and that's kind of why he wanted to go that way, right? Because they wanted to be all about Kratos and Atreus, but Egypt has more like structures, like more buildings and temples, right?
Yeah, it's like I obviously would love to see more God of War, but I also have like a it's like a sacred thing of like letting things end that doesn't happen anymore. I remember like I don't know where I heard it, but it was like somebody said that this might be the last God of War game, and I think I might like this is like maybe sacrilege to say on your channel, but it's like I love when people respect a good story and let it end.
Right.
You know, it's like it's just when you have something so great, it's like good to let it like.
I've always said that God of War is not like Mario, like the game Mario. You can make Mario games forever because he's a very simple character. He's a plumber or something. No one even knows what he is. He's just Mario, right? And it doesn't matter how many adventures he gets on. Like it's a character that can live on. But Kratos actually has an arc, so I kind of agree with you. There has to be an ending eventually. I don't think it will be this one.
No, probably not.
But we live in a world that, you know, it's always been like this, but money comes first. Money speaks, you know. And if the God of War series is making money, Sony and Santa Monica are going to feel pressure to make more God of War games, right? And at least, sorry, I'm a little bit gas. At least it's not like a game like Uncharted where it takes place in a realistic setting. Kratos has lived for centuries by this point, so he can always come back somehow. But
it's like I would love to see like any kind of mythology, of course, and like I know that they do really quality work. I just hope that it's like I know, of course, it's gonna be business, but like with Corey, like it was like I don't know, they already had 5 games, right, and then they made this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like if they have the right person to do the job, then and they have like some kind of authentic inspiration, then it'll be really good.
Yeah, I don't mean to bash another game on my podcast, but people know my opinion on it. I feel like the Assassin's Creed series has gone down that route now. It's more like, let's do one in Scandinavia now. Oh, let's go Russia. It's like it doesn't really feel like Assassin's Creed anymore. So as long as they keep the story of Kratos going, or Atreus in this case, because I do think there's gonna be spin-offs like with Atreus. An artist recently found out that the Atreus design from Ragnarok actually has like red stitches.
I saw
it, right?
that, yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's just like you can't make that stuff up. It's so cool. It's like I wonder if it's like, have you seen Up?
The balloon movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know we just had like character design in school this week, and they showed us that Russell, he's the kid who has like he's like a scout, I think the name.
Yeah, he's got like badges and all that.
Yeah, badges, and then like he's missing one right above his heart, and then apparently in the movie, and the old guy, I don't know what his name is, it doesn't matter. Like he has like one right there, and then in the movie he gives him that one, so it's like his belt is complete, and there's like right above the heart, so it's like symbolism.
Oh man, that's a cool detail, yeah.
Yeah, so like there's the same thing. Like Atreus has that like echo in his design.
Yeah.
It's just so well made.
That's kind of something I've learned like by reading God of War art books, because before God of War I never really got into it. But like the amount of work that goes into designing characters is amazing. Like the dragon in the mountain in God of War 2018. The reason it doesn't have wings, it's not because it's a baby as I thought. It's because he has lived in that mountain for so long that his wings have fallen off because he doesn't use them. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Yeah,
damn,
holy crap, dude. That's such a. It's like you're doing art, but you're also you're doing it with story. You know, it's like, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
What would be the story behind this little cut? And you guys go crazy with it, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. Like it's like visual storytelling. It's something because like I'm mainly an illustrator, but I'm learning to be also a concept artist. And it's like if you have like a painting where there's like a dagger in it, like when what's the blacksmiths' names in God of War?
The what?
The blacksmiths, like the dwarves.
Oh, Brock and Sindri.
Yeah, Sindri. So Sindri, like when after they defeat the dragon, he pulls out stuff in that bag, and it's like different mythology items. So like he pulls up. Like,
there's an Egyptian kopesh, yeah, like
yeah, something like that. And it's like those things have been designed to tell something for that scene. Right. It's not just a random item. It's like, oh, it's Egyptian. Yeah. And you could go even further than that. Like it could be like some Egyptian god's knife, and then that'll tell us something.
Yeah.
Like
you actually just brought up a good topic now. From an outsider's perspective, I really don't understand. Like, how do you train to be a concept artist? What's involved in that? What's the difference between a concept artist and someone like you who just illustrates at the moment, right?
Right. Yeah. So I describe it as like I hate thinking. Right. Like illustration is just you get the brief and what the characters look like. Like you get like a turnaround where you have them like in a T-pose, and then like from the side and from the back, so you get their design.
Okay.
And then I just paint them doing something. But like a concept artist actually has to think about the story and how you represent it. So how you practice for it is just you try and make up a story, and then you just make items that describe what's going on. So like if you have like there's a lot of like theory on it. There's like something called a sitting test. Like, so if you have a box, a sphere, and a triangle, and you sit on them, like which one is the most, like, dangerous to sit on?
Okay.
It's the triangle, because...
Yeah.
Well, now I just gave you the answer, but, like, it's like the triangle is the most dangerous one to sit on, so a lot of villains, if you've seen Disney movies, they always, like horns is one thing, like, that's a spike. So they look dangerous, that's concepting.
That's cool.
And, like, a sphere, like, you know have you seen Big Hero 6?
I don't think I have seen that one, no.
Okay, but it's like maybe another.
You can explain the example.
Oh yeah, so like in Big Hero 6, there's like a kind of a machine, like a robot thing that's like.
Oh, I have seen it. The marshmallow dude. Like, I mean, he's not marshmallow, but he's like the white robot thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's like really fluffy, and like he's basically like an elongated sphere.
Yeah.
And he's like really cushy, and he's like a good guy, and that's like really good design because that's what his job is to be caring. You know,
right?
I want to give him a hug.
He's got round edges to show you that hey, it's
exactly.
He's the least dangerous person. Smooth, you know, it's not hard like lines. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Look at that. I'm learning about art.
yeah. But it's like obviously so much more than that. Like it's like also if you want to make a character like evil, you make them kind of displeasing to look at. Like because as humans you have like beauty is like a thing. Like if you want. It's something that it's maybe kind of prejudiced, but like if you want a hero, you have to make them a little bit like attractive sometimes.
Right.
And with the opposite with villains. Even though like in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they kind of flipped that, right? Because they have the Hunchback who's like, what do you call it? Stereotypically.
Deformed, like.
Deformed. So that's like a sign of illness or unhealth. Or I don't know how to say that, but.
Yeah.
You can do anything as long as it fits the narrative.
That's
so like the narrative there is like. Yeah. Like even if you're like deformed, like he has a great heart, so that fits the narrative.
That's something David Jaffe, the creator of the series, or one of the creators of the series, said.
Yeah, you had him on the podcast, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He said about the creation of the character of Kratos. He's kind of an anti-hero. You can't make him look too pretty. I don't want a pretty boy, so they gave him scars. He doesn't look the most handsome, but. People in the team apparently said that he did. He's like, "Oh, you created a hot guy." I was like, really? I did. He didn't know.
I mean, he's like a hunky dude, so he's like pretty. He's gonna do well with the ladies, I imagine. So.
One of my favorite designs has to be Zeus. It's so simplistic, but it looks so typical of a Greek god. He's got the robes with the golden lace. It looks beautiful. It's one of my favorite designs. Yeah.
It's also funny how, like that role is like always like the father figure or the top dog in the god hierarchy. It's always like they always have a white beard, long white hair. Like it's
Yeah.
like when you see like the Christian god, it's also kind of like Zeus and kind of like Odin.
Yeah.
And kind of like Dumbledore and kind of like Gandalf. It's like there's something with that's just
like
kinda,
archetypal type of thing that
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, but I guess it works.
Yeah.
Somehow.
What would you say is your favorite character design in the God of War series? Like, what we didn't prepare for this. I'm just asking you on the spot. Yeah.
I think maybe the serpent, because like
the
so
what?
I
Sorry,
played
can you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry, the Midgard serpent, right?
Oh, the serpent. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because it's so like I love the way they made it, because like it's kind of like the Ents in not God of War, like the Ents in Lord of the Rings, like they
trees,
speak
right?
super slowly.
The trees, right?
The trees, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they speak so slowly, because like it's kind of, like when you see a giant walk, they walk super slowly, because I think that's called inertia or something. So they built that into the Midgard serpent, and like he speaks very few syllables, but apparently he can say a lot in those syllables. So it's like that language is designed for someone who can't move their mouth very quickly.
Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah,
it's kind of and Mimir talks to him, and he does the same kind of vowels.
He has to so compensate for his, like ooh,
exactly, but it's so exactly. And it's like whenever I saw that, I played the game in the beginning of 2020 at my friend's place. Like I visited him for a week, and I basically just like played through the game there. And every time I met the serpent, I was so scared, because like he had a really good sound system and stuff like that, and like a huge TV. And then the first time they see it, like the eye opens up and fills the whole screen.
Yeah.
And they're on the boat, like they're humans on a boat in like the ocean.
Yeah.
There aren't like a lot of worse places they could be, like except maybe the air. Although Kratos does seem to not mind falling several kilometers,
Yeah.
But like when it's like just yelling at you, and you have no idea what it's saying, and it's so huge, and that like bass voice is just so scary.
Yeah.
And it's so well made, like the way it's speaking to you.
It's one of my favorite moments at least in God of War 2018. So you like it from an artistic design, as well as, I guess, sound design is also art, right? So you like both mediums combining for the character of Jormungandr. You think?
But like everything about it, it's also like the storytelling of it is like, it's like when he says that, when Mimir says that, it's nothing important, it's just the boy seemed familiar to him.
Yeah.
It's like it's so cool. Like I love that stuff. It's so good.
I honestly think the game would not be as good if Mimir wasn't in it, because Mimir essentially serves as the narrator. He's making you walking from point A to point B interesting. He's like, oh, that thing, that's where the elves used to gather. It's like he makes it really interesting. It's like, oh, and it's magical.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm learning about all this.
Exactly. That's also why, like when you make a movie, you have characters that are like complementary, so like they're opposites, and that means they fill in each other's gaps, and that makes the story kind of whole.
Right.
And that's what we like to see. Like they're like, it's real. Like everything is in nature is like symbiotic.
Right.
Like it works together because of each other. And that's kind of how we have like a narration in characters also. So Mimir is like the knowledgeable one who's been there for a long time, and Kratos is the strong one who can handle brute force, and Atreus is like the curious one who brings them out into all these situations, right? So they have like a trio there, and then Freya and all the other stuff.
They're all complementary,
Yeah, exactly. They make one great story. It's so good.
Yeah. Do you have like a background in storytelling as well? Like, is that something you would like to do eventually as well?
Like I don't have a background in like storytelling. I love movies and I love storytelling. So like I really wanna like write, but I don't really have I don't know where to start. Pretty much, I think I just probably should start writing. But there's just so much value. Like I love movies so much, and there's so many movies I just keep watching over and over, because like the dialogue is just, it's like music sometimes, because it just works so well.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just really passionate about that stuff.
What would be your favorite movie? Like, what would you say that is?
Recently, it's actually been like Tenet, if you've seen that one by Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I see that look on your face. You're a little bit like, because.
Well, okay,
like,
I love Christopher Nolan movies, man. But Tenet, I don't know what he was on, man. Like that movie, they're all over the place. It's like, wait,
I know.
There's a bank heist for a painting now. What is going on, man?
Right. And but it's so one of the reasons I keep watching is that movie is because I hardly understand it, right?
Okay.
Like that scene where they're like they're in Tallinn, which is somewhere in like Central Europe, and they have to get the thing and then go back in time and then forwards and like back. Like there's
Right.
like
Oh,
so
yeah,
much
yeah.
reinversion going on that's
Yeah,
so
like-
hard to understand.
That's a weird scene because they go in a room and like on one side it's reversed and on the other one the flow of time is happening differently, but somehow they both meet exactly where they should. It's freaking insane.
But like the ideas that are discussed, like free will and all that kind of like it's like philosophy almost. It's interesting and you can keep like I think it's like an endless. I don't know if you can like find an answer to all that stuff, but I think it's interesting that he tries to take a bite of that, like it's like infinitely complex, but he made something that was super like interesting and entertaining and impressive. Like what are the names? John J. Washington, like Denzel Washington's son, and Robert Pattinson. They just played so well together, and I love like people say that the movie doesn't have a lot of like emotion and like character development, but I think what you get is worth so much that I think it makes it worth it somehow. Like they just play so well together, and I love analyzing it. What makes it? Yeah, I love analyzing it to see what makes the characters so.
Interesting that you mentioned Tenet because God of War Ragnarok is just going to have a lot of. We're expecting it to have a lot of time travel elements in it.
Right.
So how do you think that's gonna go? Like I know I'm the theorist here, but you can give your
Well, like there's something like the serpent was thrown back in time because the world tree splintered, right?
Yeah.
So that could be like anything, like the world tree splintering. That, like how is that gonna happen? Like,
lately, no, of course I don't know. Corey hasn't told me yet. No, I'm kidding. Corey doesn't tell me.
Yes, no.
Dude, that's what people think, man. They're still asking me for the release date, guys. I don't know the release date. Okay,
right.
Let it go. But lately I've had this idea that it's that whole. I feel like the world tree is going to splinter again, but it's gonna splinter massively. And there's actually another God of War fan on Twitter. Her name is Farore. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But he had this idea of completely destroying the tree, and that's what causes Ragnarok. And will the tree splinters, they go back in time or something. That's kind of an idea I've had lately, and it's gonna be done as a result of Kratos fighting Thor, right? It's like they're gonna be these two cosmic forces just meeting for the first time or second time, and like it's gonna go down, right? So
the tree is like in the center of the travel place, right? Is that the world tree, or is that like
the one
else?
in the travel bridge? Okay, so the one in the travel bridge, it's a representation only. It's not the real one, right? The real one is when you go through the doors, the fast travel in the game. That's the real tree. Like when.
Oh yeah, that's true, right? Of course.
Yeah.
And then where they jump down is like the place between places, or
the realm between realms. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, place. Yeah.
you do your homework.
Yeah. No, but like, did you try jumping off? Of course you probably did, like jumping off without the thing.
I think I went there, and Kratos is like, no, boy, stand back or something, right?
Right.
But it's something really interesting. I don't know if you know this, right? You can actually see a little bit of the tower in that realm. Like when you look down before that story moment. If you look
like
down the
Jotunheim Tower, or?
Yeah, you can see it, and you're like, huh, there's something there. It's like it's the only hard edge. Like speaking of hard edges, like it's like everything is just like flowy, but you see a tower, like a corner of the tower. Like that's really interesting, right? And that's kind of what I like about Corey's style of storytelling. He kind of leaves in like things for the future of the story.
Yep.
And I noticed it happened. I'm talking too much, but it happened in God of War 2. There's a cutscene of the Great War. And you can actually see the Titans being pulled out of time in that cutscene, and you don't know it until the very end. Like, dude, that's sick, right?
But so when you say pulled out of time,
yeah, because at the end of God of War 2, Kratos goes back in time and he rescues the Titans, right? He brings them back to his timeline, so he pretty much teleports them, right? Don't think too hard about it. It's more for the viewer, because if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense, because it means that in that timeline, when Zeus tried to kill the giants, the Titans, they disappeared. And it makes me think, what happened in that timeline? Did Zeus go insane looking for the Titans? You're not meant to think too much about it. It's more for that experience, like, oh shit, you could see it. You could see it all the way back, like before the ending happened, you could see the ending, right? So that's something Corey does a lot.
But it's also like sometimes like that could be, because they do that some pretty often, like that hard edge you were talking about. That could be like they just put it there to save like memory in the game, like because they like if they had to make another environment that would cost like I don't know what you call it, server space or something, like it would be more costly. That could be. And also I saw on Twitter today actually that sometimes when people try and like not hack the game, but like if they turn on no clip and go into like a controlled environment and then go through walls, you can like find a tomato or something. Right, and then all the fans are gonna be like, "Oh shit, there's a tomato there," and it's like, maybe the programmers would just say, "Well, we just placed that there, and then when we delete it, the whole game breaks, so we just left it there." Like it could just be like a lot of those Easter eggs could just be like, well, if they take it out, the whole game is gonna break because it's like so complex to make a game.
No, but I think in that moment, Atreus even says like, "Oh, I think there's something down there," but it's not scripted. Yeah. It's just something that happens in gameplay. I'm like, oh. You're not really meant to think about it, but they're like, holy crap, I can see it right there, like the tower. Yeah. And of course, like the whole thing about video games is just creating this illusion of this real world. But like you said, if you pull out the camera a little bit, you can see what's going on behind the scenes, and like the blades suddenly appear, and he's like, here you go. Because like you said, they have to save memory, so you don't really see it. It's like outside of the theater view, right? But it's like things are clipping in and out. It's like, it's crazy how they coordinate all of this to work, right? I don't know how it doesn't look bad.
There's also like when you like if what's his name, Atreus is running around, like, and you're playing Kratos and you like jump to get up a wall, he'll like just hop on anywhere wherever he is. Yeah. I think it only happened one time when I was playing the game that I saw him like swoop over and hop onto his back. Right. Like otherwise, like the camera forces you to look at the wall, and he can just hop in from screen right or something. Yeah, yeah. So and that's just like a little that's just like a trick. And also when you take the Blades of Chaos, Kratos doesn't wear the whatever handguards you have on.
The gauntlets, yeah. They clip how they disappear in that moment.
Exactly, and that's just like a little thing you have to do to make it work, right? And that's fine.
Now that you mentioned the armor, like, what do you think about the armor in God of War 2018? That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't think it fits Kratos that well as a character. Like, they're too closed off. How would you design like armor for Kratos? What would be your take on it? This is your resume. Grafka said he's watching this, dude.
Yes, I'll do my best. No, but like I think it was really interesting because he usually just wears like a battle skirt or something, right? In the first games.
In the first games, yeah. He's very simplistic.
And now he has like the battle kilt and then the shoulder strap, right? Yeah, yeah. But I don't know why. I wonder why they did it. Like it's one thing that we really enjoy to customize our own character.
Yeah.
And it's
they're not getting rid of it. Yeah, they're not getting rid of it. But
no, and I don't want them to. Like because it is kind of weird to see Kratos in like full battle regalia. Yeah. But it's also really cool because it's so well designed. Like it all like I don't know what it's called, but like the battle raiment or the chest guard of Tyr. And it's like blue and golden and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like, it's too much armor for Kratos, but it's really cool to see what their representation of that is. I love seeing that.
This is actually a good shout out. Someone who didn't make it into the top 10 of the art contest. But again, like the competition became so steep that I did not expect this. He's actually a big guy in the God of War community on Twitter. He shares a lot of his art. And I think he drew, his piece was Kratos, Atreus, and Tyr. And Tyr is wearing his armor. I'm like, dude. That looks sick, man. Yeah, I'm showing it right now on the screen, but yeah, I'll when you watch.
Oh, that looks amazing! But I love that. Like, look at the shoulder guards.
I'm like, dude, I'm so sad, dude, because it's like he loved taking part of this contest, but it's like so many amazing entries were left out, and I love that one so much. But
it's like I remember I used to play WoW back in the day, and because the game was so like the textures had to be so. What do you call that? Like so low detail because like the memory on PCs weren't that big back then. Mm-hmm. You know, so they had to really save on the memory. Yeah. So the armor was often really low.
Low res.
What do you call it? Pixel. Yeah, low res exactly. And then it's so fun because now Hearthstone is out, like the card game, and that needs a lot of art, and it's all like Warcraft armor in that game in the images. And then now you see like illustrators portraying the armor that I was running around in when I was playing the game. And so, like a lot of times they have to improvise because sometimes you can't see what it is on the armor. Right. And it's like it's really fun to see how people interpret it.
Yeah. So. I've always said that graphics aren't really that important when it comes to the experience of a game, but I wouldn't say they're completely unimportant because with high graphic fidelities you get to see all the intricacies of an armor, and it makes you feel like you're actually there. Demon Souls does an amazing job of that. It's just the remake, at least, like that game looks beautiful overall.
Right, I'll have to. I got my friends recommended I play the Dark Souls series like before summer, and I got the first Dark Souls, and I played through it in like 5 days, which is because I had summer. It was summer, so I didn't have school or anything. And I just played through that game in like 5 days, and then I got Dark Souls 2 immediately. And in the first 48 hours of owning that game, I was playing 42 hours. So I was just like playing through that game in like 2 days. And then I got Dark Souls 3, and I kind of had to like take a knee and like kind of just like relax a little bit. But all the Dark Souls games are so good. Like I love them. Like
so you've actually finished them? Like you finished Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
Holy
and then,
dude.
Because I don't have a PlayStation, I can't get Demon Souls and Bloodborne. I think are those two. I haven't played.
Do you have an Xbox or a PC? What do you?
No, I have a PlayStation 3, but it
PlayStation 3. I got you. You. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometime I'll have to. What do you call it? Like chuck up and get one. Maybe.
If they ever come to the stores, it'd be nice. A PS5 at least. Like, they're still hard to find.
Right, but also I think one of them is actually going to come out to PC sometime this year. Might have been Bloodborne, but I'm not sure. But now we have Elden Ring.
Elden Ring is for PC, but some people are complaining about it.
Why?
Not being on the PC. I think it's not as good as a. I'll be honest. The game in general has a bit of graphical issues. It does look a little bit last gen. The game itself and the art is beautiful. Like when you see the cathedrals in the back. FromSoftware is another team that. Holy dude, I love looking at their art so much. So those guys definitely lead more into the horror aspect of the games.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like so. It's what do you call it? It's like not grimdark. It's just like so like all the
Lovecraftian, like Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah, exactly. And like so like when they have like a monster, it's like all tendrily, and like they have. Like it's very rare that you see a monster in the game that has
cosmic horror. I think is what you're looking for. Cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror might be
the style. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the term is, but I just like there's details everywhere, and they're all really well placed.
Yeah.
Like no detail in the game is like superfluous. It makes sense down to the core, and I love that. Like if you see armor and engraving, it'll often be that you can see like on Baldur, like his tattoos tell a story.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
Like that's concept art. Like I love that. It's
Baldur is one of my favorite designs in the series. I think like he looks plain, and he's not.
Yes.
It's so cool. We go back to that storytelling and art thing. It's like he's not wearing shoes while he walks in the snow, and that's because he can't feel anything. And I'm like,
exactly.
Dude, that's brilliant. I could have never come up with that. I'm like, oh, here's a Norse dude. I would have put a Viking helmet on it, and it's like no, like in concept art, like that's just not how it works. You really need to. Think about the arts and all that, yeah.
And also like you have Kratos, who's obviously like a bodybuilder kind of character, right? And like one of the most obscene things is like when he flips the temple.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously there's no correlation between the weight of the temple and the weight of Kratos, as like his muscles are big. Yeah. There's no correlation there. It's just like the Kratos' strength kind of resides in like it's kind of hard to say like the importance of his history or something, because like the importance of Baldur is also like he's a god. Like that's kind of what God means in God of War. Is like it's like you're more than a person. Like you're one of the first persons, and you're important because everything that comes after you is like the world that we have, right?
Yeah.
So they're really important people, and like when Kratos and Baldur fight in the beginning, it's like Baldur is just like a little scrawny guy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, my turn. And then like his arm, there's really like a stick.
He does a Mortal Kombat uppercut and just
to fly into the roof. It's so cool, and like there's no correlation between their sizes. It's just like their importance. It's kind of cool.
That really level of epicness is something that worries me a little bit about Ragnarok. I'm sure like the first fight with Thor is gonna be insane, right? I just don't know if they'll be able to. Who do you think is gonna win? Overall, I mean, Kratos has plot armor, but
but so they often do like so. Maybe Thor beats him, and then Kratos learns something new, and then something. But
at first, before the game was shown, I always thought it was a good idea to kill off Kratos at the beginning, and then that's how you kind of reset the character. And then what happens is he goes to Valhalla because he died fighting. So you get that classic God of War thing where he goes to the underworld and has to return, right? But upon thinking about that, it doesn't really make sense because Valhalla is found in Asgard. It doesn't make sense that Odin is going to let him walk out. He's got Heimdall there. He's got a bunch of Norse gods, right? So I think, and it would also mean that Atreus is going to be separated from Kratos in the beginning, and that would kind of break the flow of gameplay as well, right? So
but that could be kind of cool. Like
it would, dude. I would love it.
Yeah. He was kind of separated from Kratos when he was sick, also, and that was like, it was scary to just be Mimir and Kratos. It was like, shit, something's really wrong.
Yeah. Like so I had that idea at first, but now I think I'm actually writing that video now, like my top 10 predictions for bosses, and how I have this running bit in the channel now, and I call it I put on the fake God of War director's hat or something, and it's a hat with all of the God of War directors' heads on it. It's like I'm gonna put myself in their position and imagine how this would play out. And I have this idea of like for the first fight with Thor, the chariot being pulled by the goats arrives, but this chariot is much bigger than you expect, and the fight takes place on that chariot. And then Jormungandr gets involved, and then that's how the fight kind of, gets broken. Like, it's like, oh no, you stop fighting, right? And then Thor leaves, and then we continue the story. That's kind of how I think should happen now. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I just hope that I have no idea how it's gonna, like, I just want it to be, like, unique. I want it to be new. And, like, it's just, I love how they did Thor in the first game, because they barely did him, right? I think even the time that you see him, it's actually just Kratos' model with a beard, and then like it's all in shadow.
I think it's Magni. I think it's Magni's model, his son.
Oh, it's Magni. Yeah, that makes sense maybe. Yeah. But like I just like the way he like, I think I got the pose. Can you see it now? Is it the 2 dots?
Yeah, no, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, so like the pose he has that I tried to capture is just like I'm sick of you guys. Like can you stop like annoying me? Kind of like that kind of pose. He's like he's so sick of it.
Dude, you nailed that pose. That whole image just looks amazing, dude.
Thanks, man. It was like I remember when my friend I played the game at my friend's place. I told you, and after I beat the game, it's like he said, "Well, they're telling you to go home, so maybe you should go home." And he guided me there because I was like gonna do side quests.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of wrap up the whole story before I went home because he lives far away.
Yeah.
And then I went home. I was just like, like when I saw him, it was just like,
dude, yeah.
Like I was speechless. I was getting like. It was just so epic, and the music is like,
and it just builds up.
Like it's so dramatic, and it's like, it's like it's as if like a chorus of people are observing what's going on. They're just like screaming, like this is it. It's so well made. And what was I even gonna say about Thor? Like I just hope I have no idea how it's gonna happen. And because he's being, he was like built. They did him right in the first game because every time there's also something my friend pointed out that when Modi is getting beat up by him when you're crawling up the wall, like thunder is going on all around you, and it's like I didn't make that connection. Like when it's thundering, it's because Thor is up to something, and it's like, dude, that's so sick. Like he was just here.
This is something I don't even know if I'm gonna make this theory video, but we found out something really interesting the other day. I was replaying the game again, and I live streamed it. And in the realm between realms, before they're gonna go and get the tower, they're looking down at it, and you hear a thunder strike. You hear
in the realm between realms?
In the realm between realms, and I never noticed that. And one of my followers said, I think he said it jokingly, but I kind of believe it now. He's like, "Oh, that's when Kratos and Thor are fighting in the next game in the future or something." Like, oh my god, dude! I know you said that as a joke, but that's not a bad idea. Like
because like time is...
because Corey did say that he has things in this game that you're not gonna see them until you play further games. Like, holy crap, dude! That could be cool because you never hear a thunder strike in the background, but you do in that exact story moment. Like, either they messed up, like, oh, I guess I'm gonna put a thunder strike in it, but
of course not. Like, he's the god of thunder, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be random if it's thundering in this game, right? Because it's gonna be intentional, and that's a narrative device that they can use, and they do. It's really cool. I love that.
I was gonna ask you. I don't know which is the Pantheon, the realm you're most excited to see. That's one of the new ones. Would you say it's Asgard or Vanaheim? Like, which one do you like them? Would you like to see the most?
So Vanaheim is the one where Freya was from.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think I know enough about it to be like Asgard is just like we have to see it, right? So
Yeah,
I
of
think I'm
course,
gonna
yeah.
pick that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Asgard is gonna
How would you imagine it to look like? Because we've seen what the MCU has done with Asgard. How do you think it would fit more with the God of War series?
I just hope it's gonna be really different from how they did it in Marvel. Like
Okay.
Asgard was like, what was it, like a bowl, and then there was like a city on it, or something.
In the MCU?
Yeah, because there was like, or maybe it just maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I felt like when when Fenrir, like when I think it was the Hulk was fighting Fenrir.
Yeah, in
And then-
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and he kind of just fell over, and I thought that was the edge of the world.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
it could also just be like a high place. But
Right,
I
yeah.
think like everything else is just like clouds. So I thought that that was Asgard, and then
Yeah.
Asgard was just like one big city, and like with the whole thing, like
Yeah.
I thought
Go ahead. Go ahead.
like it works fine for like it's Hollywood, and it has to be like immediately satisfying to look at. So it makes
Yeah.
and there's Odin, like at the
Right.
top, and like that's his kingdom.
Yeah.
But it's just too simple for God of War. Like I hope I hope Asgard is where they are. Was it Durlin? His name was like the new merchant-looking
The
guy
new
with the octopus.
dwarf. Yeah. Yeah. What about that? Well, that's
Yeah, so, like-
that's Svartalheim. That's the we suspect that's Svartalheim, land of the dwarves, right? That's we haven't seen Asgard.
Oh,
yet.
that makes a lot of sense. Actually, the architecture does reflect that also.
Yeah,
But, like,
you actually see like very low roofs, I guess, that Kratos wouldn't be able to enter. Like it's only for
Dude,
dwarves.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right. Well, then they're gonna have to do something else. So is that the same place? Because I only watched that because I want to try and watch as little footage as possible and just. Play the game
Oh,
when it
okay.
comes out.
I don't have that self control.
No, okay, but like no, like if it's out, then I'll watch it. But I don't want to like overdo it.
Yeah.
But where he's using the blades of chaos to like climb a wall, is that also the same place? Do you think?
That's kind of hard to say. That's you mean where they rescued here, like inside that
Yes.
cave looking thing?
Yeah.
I think it's Svartalheim for two reasons. It doesn't look, for one, it doesn't look like what would be the word? It doesn't look very mighty, that place. It looks very like run down. It's just a cave, right? And I imagine Asgard as being a lot more a lot more beautiful. But then again, that could be my interpretation of based on the MCU's take on Asgard, right? But another thing we see is that we see a Valhalla soldier. I'm forgetting the name, in Herjar, I think, and he's being teleported. And my guess is that if this was Asgard, he wouldn't need to be teleported because he already would be there, right? But so I'm guessing where Tyr's being held is another realm entirely, like Sparta.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope it's not gonna be like gold everywhere because I think that's a little bit like easy and like maybe corny. Like we saw didn't we see Odin's vault at some point in the first game?
Yeah, in Helheim. Yeah, you see where he keeps all the manuscripts and the things,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like that was a pretty dapper room, I would say. But there's also Odin's vault, so
yeah,
that's okay. And like it's gold everywhere and all that. And so was there in
Oh,
Tyr's
I
vault.
think you're thinking of Tyr's vault, like where there's gold everywhere, right?
Yeah, maybe, but I think Odin's. I feel like there was in Helheim, right when you get out of Helheim. I feel like there's a room that's like the scrolls you were talking about. Wasn't that
Right.
Odin's?
Yeah, Odin.
No.
That's Odin's base of operations. That's where he brought all the knowledge about the realm.
But, yeah.
realms.
My point is just like in that place where there's like arena and they rescue Tyr and all that. It's very tangible and relatable. Like I can't put myself in an environment like mentally where there's just like gold everywhere.
Okay.
So I thought it was really cool to see, just like where like Kratos' house, it's just the woods.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's in a mythological place, right? And then you have like the whole temple and all that, and that's huge, and that makes sense. But then you have Jotunheim, that's like a forest and like
It's a
fog.
desert. It looks like a desert. Jotunheim.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So and it's like they don't have to overdo it, and I think God of War's style in the new game and the coming game hopefully is that it's very like it's just like it is what it is, and it makes sense. Like it isn't
Yeah.
overdone. It's just what I'm
Well,
trying to
yeah,
say.
I want it to be different, but I'll be honest, that is something I miss from the older games. They in a way they look a little bit more mythological. In God of War Ascension, you go to the island of Delos, and the island is pretty much a statue. It's just like it's the statue, the foot of a god or something. It's like the places you go, it's much more eye-catching. Like the Sisters of Fate Temple, it's like high in the not in the clouds. Like Atlas just picks you up with his hand. Like, the game has more of a mythological feel, right?
Right.
God of War 2018 still has that, but like I said, it's more secluded, so you don't really see that many temples, or it's very rustic. I think would be the word. It's more like
that's a good word.
Yeah, like level.
But I really like it that way. But also like, isn't it Gaia you're climbing?
Yeah,
in
Gaia.
one of the games.
God of War
like,
3.
That's obviously like great. Like that's cool. And that's why we play video games, because you can experience that kind of stuff. But it's also just like when you have a real like a story in that kind of environment, that's kind of more real. It's just so cool to see. Then you can like save the cherry for something more special than like an environment.
Like I feel like they're gonna go all out with when it comes to Asgard. But like you said, it can't be the same as MCU, and I'm dying to see Raf Grassetti's, because he's the new art director. I don't think he was in the previous game. He's driving the boat now. Like he's driving the car now when it comes to the art
Is he
design
really
of the
art
game.
director?
I think he's the art director of God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
That's great.
He stepped up, and I love it because his stuff is amazing, right? And I can't wait to see how he envisions Asgard in general as a location, right? Because you are right. Eric Williams has said that Odin is not the same Odin you know of. He's not really interested in pretty clothes or fancy or gold or anything like that. He just cares about like fixing his destiny. So he's an old man on the road, just always doing something.
Okay.
So,
that's like a lot of information to give away, actually.
Dude, when
I'm sure I heard that.
I love Eric, I trust him and all that, but I'm like, guys, you're giving away way too much information, man. Like, and they revealed, they came out, oh yeah, that's Angrboda, Odin is in it, that you heard Thor's voice, like, dude, hold up, man. Like, you're like, telling way too many things. You gotta leave some work for me, I gotta guess things, okay?
But it's gonna be epic. I hope. I don't wanna like foil it, but I'm looking forward to it.
What's the moment in the next game you're hoping that happens? Like, what do you, because you're really into the story, what do you think it's gonna happen? What do you want to happen?
I like a lot of things. I'm really curious to see what they do with Angrboda. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but like I'm really curious. It's like how that's gonna like it's Loki's wife or.
Wife
something?
is in a loose term. Like wife, they don't really got married back then. It's just like we get together.
Exactly. So, right, but that's gonna be interesting to see their dynamic and all that, and Freya, like that's gonna be a doozy when we see her again. And like I never noticed like when they're on the sled in the trailer and she's like running, like her running animation. I don't think I ever saw before, like the way she's running toward the sled.
Yeah, I guess that would be the first time you saw Freya running like that.
It's so like such a a primal rage kind of thing, and then she jumps and she has a sword and she's attacking someone with it. Like the whole thing about her warrior spirit being taken away, I never connected that to being that she actually can't fight. Mm-hmm. Like she's using magic instead, and then it had such an impact when I saw that in the trailer. It's like, whoa, that's Freya. But she's attacking somebody.
Yeah, she got her fighting spirit. We don't know how, but she got it now.
That's gonna be interesting to see. That's actually one of the moments I want to see then.
It's really weird. You might not know this, but her physical wings are actually in her house, right?
What? Really?
Yeah. If you go to Freya's house and you look behind a curtain or something, you see the wings right there. So back when the game released, it was this weird topic. It's like, oh, Freya's looking for her fighting spirits, her wings, right? Because her fighting spirit and her wings go hand in hand, like they're together or something. And I'm like, it's right there. It's in her house. So what could it be? Is it possible Odin put a spell on the wings that she can't see them or something? What's going on, right? So it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And also, like another friend of mine just, like he got it because it came to PC, and then he played it through. And he must have spent like 130 tries on Sigrun. And I love that. Like that's like it's the same thing. Like, that's what gets me about Dark Souls. It's like it's an actual challenge. Yeah. Not that I'm like a super gamer or anything like that, but like it's like there's a lot of games where you just kind of get the win for like too easy. Yeah. And Sigrun you don't. And he played on the second hardest difficulty and like 130 tries. That's like a long time, and then the reward is so much bigger.
Yeah, I really did like the inclusion of the Valkyries, because it's like you said, it's like it's in the same game, but it's not really. It doesn't feel like the same game. It's like, oh, for those of you who want a bit more of a challenge, here you go.
Exactly.
And you're right.
Yeah.
I kind of like Souls games. I'm enjoying Elden Ring, but I keep dying a lot still.
Me too.
And it's good that God of War had that option. It's like, oh, for those hardcore gamers, you have Sigrun. And like you said, it feels really good once you actually beat her. The first time I think I stayed, I started playing at 12 a.m. and I finally killed her at 3 a.m. Like, it was 3 hours nonstop, but I loved it every second.
What difficulty did you play on?
I think I was a normal, to be honest with you. So I'm not the best, yeah.
I am like mea culpa, because I haven't done it. Like, I didn't make it in time. I defeated Gunnar, like the first one.
Right,
on, like probably like the 20th try or something, and that was like normal difficulty also. Yeah. So
and
it's hard, man.
It's really good once you get the rhythm of the combat system. It's like, oh, you're dodging. This one you have to block. It's like
exactly.
It's a symphony. It's like, the Valkyries are the best place to experience that. It's like, no, you do this. You feel awesome once you learn all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also kind of dangerous because, like, it also happened with my friend Chris. He was like, at some point, you just kind of start to, like, you don't even see what you're looking at anymore. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, this shape is going in this direction. That means I hit round, and then you get stagnant. Like, you don't take in more information than learn.
Right. Yeah.
So then you have to take a break and then try again. But like, I love like a challenge like that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I think in the first boss of Elden Ring, because I'm not like, I'm making excuses for myself, I guess, but I'm playing like a melee character and using a katana, and the first character or the first boss is like super aggro.
Margit.
Yeah, Margit. Yeah. Which is actually a woman's name in Denmark. It's Margit.
Yeah, I was thinking of Margaret. Yeah, like, I'm like, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's probably like a derivative of that name, actually. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but speaking of this, I want to apologize to you publicly because I called you. I kept referring to you as, her art is amazing.
Yeah.
And the story behind that is kind of funny because at first I thought he was a guy by his picture, but then I was talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, I fangirl over this stuff. I'm like, I guess it's a girl. I'm sorry. The lesson I learned here is like, don't assume someone's gender. I'm really gonna start going with they and all that. He's like, I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell, but
my friend gave me a lot of like my friends. I showed my friends the video and they were like, hey, why is he calling you she? And then now I'm never gonna hear the end of it because it's my fault and all that. So that's just the thing now. So that's great.
Yeah, but sorry, you were saying. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just remember that.
No, it's a good tangent. But like, so the Margit boss, it's like I'm melee, and I think I spent like probably also like 100 tries on the first boss, and then like now the bosses are getting more manageable because I just think that one was more like for spellcasters maybe. I have like people in my class who beat him on like the third try. And I
had to get a couple friends in to help me. Like, I couldn't do it by myself. And
super hard.
That's the thing. I kind of like Souls game from a distance. I love the world and the art design, but once I get in, I'm like, shit, man.
I love exploring it. Like, and you have the moose or the horse that you can run around on.
Yeah.
Moose, I don't know, but like, it's just so fun. You can jump now. Like before, you could only like sprint and then do a leap.
Yeah.
Now you can actually full on jump while standing still, and there's like so much exploration, and the horse can double jump. It's so fun.
I think Elden Ring is gonna be, I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild did it first, but Elden Ring is gonna be a massive game for adventure games in general. Like, this is how you should do a mythological open world type of game. It's like, Elden Ring is just beautiful. Like, you're just walking around and you see a rock monster just walking with a bell underneath, and then you actually get to interact and lower. Like, if they ever do a God of War game that's an open world, they should really look at Elden Ring, how they're doing this, organic world that anything is happening at the moment, right? And I love that. What are your thoughts about that? Would you like a God of War game in an open world setting? I always like to ask that question because some people don't, right? And some people absolutely love the idea, right? I personally think it could work maybe with Atreus, who has a lot of magical abilities, and it would be cool to fly around as an eagle or another mythological enemy or something. But what about you? What do you think?
No, it's actually a funny thing you're saying because I don't think I've ever played like apart from WoW, but that's like a massively multiplayer.
Oh,
like
World of Warcraft.
World. Sorry, World of Warcraft. So you can fly around, but that's like the world is enormous, right? So, but if you had an open world game like Witcher and you could fly, maybe that would make the world too small. That's kind of
I see. Yeah, because you could just. I see what you're saying.
just fly over everything. But like God of War, I don't know. Like I feel like God of War 18 is that's like it's not open world, but it's so explorable.
It's open, yeah. It's an open, semi-open,
it's kind of like
open world.
Yeah, it's kind of like Witcher 2. I think like there are paths that you're supposed to go, but you can take a lot of ways to get there.
Right.
Kind of not so like in God of War you have a path, but there's like exploration going on, right?
Do you naturally prefer a more open game or a more scripted one? I guess open, a little open.
I think God of War is like a really, really good compromise because I love exploring and I also love because you can't like when you have an open world game, a lot of the open world is like wasted time because you can't plan that much space, right? And it's kind of like when you're in GTA, like if you played GTA 5, and you go around in the city and you start looking at like street corners. Like, there's nothing deliberately planned there. Like there's no love in like this street corner because it's too expansive to plan anything happening there, you know?
Right.
So when you have a game that's more linear, that's like, what's a good linear game?
The Uncharted series? The Uncharted series or something?
I've never played them, but like, so I have BioShock. That's like not open world, but like that's so great because they plan everything and they leave the voice boxes that you have to play, even though that gets a little bit repetitive in my opinion. But like everything is deliberate that you meet on the path when it's like not open world.
Yeah,
but
like scripted games have that edge over the open ones. Like you have an opportunity to make a better story. It's like everything you're seeing is how the developer wants you to see it in the right order, right? Open world games are more like, oh, you do whatever, right? But I think Elden Ring is. Go ahead, sorry.
So like in the Witcher 3, there's like kind of a joke that they had was like when they ran out of content, they would have like because one of their game rules was that you could ride on your horse for 30 seconds in any direction, and then you would find something to look at, right? Whether that be like enemies or like a tall tower or something that you could go explore. But one of their running gags one of their jokes among themselves was that, if we don't have any content, we'll just make a bandit camp there and put a chest with like some kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like I think Witcher 3 did it so well. It's like anywhere you go in the Witcher 3 there's something actually interesting. Like, and I don't have enough good things to say about the game. There's just so much stuff. So I think, but you can never. The Witcher 3 is just such a great game. I don't want to like tempt fate and say I want that again because I don't know if anyone could make that. It's just so good. It's just so good. And then God of War is like the perfect like compromise between linear and open world. I think.
Yeah.
So good. Like
you get to explore, but you also get the traditional well written story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when you do go explore in the like unplanned terrain, it's not unplanned, and that's the great thing about it. Like everything is planned in God of War, even the explained things or even explorative parts. Yeah. So the great like wherever you go, there's like a quest or there's something to look at or something. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely take into consideration when answering the question of the open world, a possible open world God of War game, because I honestly think it might work with as long as I can't praise Mimir enough. Mimir is a character that's really a lifesaver for the game itself. Imagine an open world game and Mimir's in it. It's like everything you look is like, oh, you see a fallen giant. Oh, that happened in the battle. Like that's sick. Like an open world with Mimir on it, Mimir would save it because it's like, oh, he can always talk and give you exposition. Because that's something that's missing with Elden Ring. It's like very vague storytelling, and I love watching Batty's videos, right? But it's like I don't know who. Arcelius the Conqueror, it's like who the hell are you, right? It's
such a weird thing in this Dark Souls game. Like you have to read the lore through really vague dialogue and item descriptions. It's so weird. It's such a weird way to do it, but like sometimes it's really fun to do something that new, and like you have to work for it, and then it sometimes pays off, and I think it does in Dark Souls for the most part. So
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it would that level of storytelling wouldn't fit the God of War series. It's more like God of War is more of a traditional one. So if an open world game were to take place, Mimir has to be in it, just giving you exposition and all that. You were gonna ask something.
it's just like, are you one of the people who, like, on your first playthrough, did you like, if Mimir was telling a story, would you go to the land and just wait for him to continue the story, or would you?
Oh
like,
yeah, on the boat, I would wait. Yeah, I would just listen to the boat. Yeah, that's something That's something Corey wanted. It's like, that's awesome. It's you're invested in the world. I'm telling you, dude. You take Mimir out of it, and you get a game that's not as good. Like this podcast has been all about praising Mimir all of a sudden, but
yeah, but he deserves it, man. He's so great.
Yeah.
And like my friend Chris, he was like, he was screen sharing on Discord while we were all talking, and then he would just sail into land, even though he is also like, and like he's an appreciator of story, right? And like, but he just apparently not, because he just sailed onto land while Mimir was talking. I was like, dude, why are you not like waiting? Like you have to just tread water for a bit while he's talking. I was like, nope, I just that's a dude. I don't know. I can't get behind that. But Mimir's great. Mimir's great.
He really is, and some people want him to die, and not because they hate him, but because it would make an emotional thing. I hope Mimir stays with the series until the very end. I really do. It's like, he's essentially Gaia of the new series now. It's like a Gaia, but it's not an actual narrator. It's an organic narrator, right? But yeah,
I don't even know how all that worked. I know that it was like a reveal when you found out that Gaia was the narrator, but I didn't play those games, and I don't know too much about the old ones, but I've seen clips in here and there and stuff like that.
You said you have a PS3, right? So that's honestly the best system to play them. Like if you get the collection, because PlayStation now sadly is not as good. Like you'll have to stream it, but if you ever get a chance, give this game a try, man. Like because the action and just the settings are quite beautiful as well.
Is God of War 1 and 2 also on it, or is it just 3? I guess maybe they have like a package.
All of the previous God of War games, you can play them on the PlayStation 3, because there's a God of War 1 and 2 collection, a God of War Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus collection as well, and then you get Ascension in 2013 for the PlayStation 3. So So
all of they only had those games for like the PSP, which was discontinued or something.
Yeah, it'll be harder to get on the PSP, but I think it was in 2012 they remade them, like remastered them for the PlayStation 3. So you have the perfect console too, because I have a PlayStation 3, but I don't use it, man. I don't have any space for it. Like I have one of the OG PlayStation 3 games.
Me too, like the
fat ones, yeah.
Yep, me too.
And I have to do with PlayStation now, but there's rumors that they're gonna revamp the whole system with the Spartacus thing or something. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I'm not sure what that means.
There's a rumor going on that Sony's planning to revamp the PlayStation Now format, I guess, and it's gonna have like tier things, and maybe like the top tier, the payment you pay the one you pay the most, you get access to early access games or something. So it's like you get multiple things, and you'll be able to download games now. It apparently is gonna be much better, but we'll have to wait and see. It's just a rumor for now, so don't take it with a grain of salt.
I gotta say, I'm not if it like it's a business, of course, and it has to work and all that, and it's probably a great deal for people who have it. But I didn't get a PS4 because I just started playing PC, and I barely even used the PS3. I had like a couple good games on it, but I just missed the times where you just bought a game and it was like the whole experience.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need like online used to be free. Like you paid your internet connection and then you had online.
PlayStation 3 is does it still have? It has to have like servers still up, right, for PlayStation 3?
Yeah. I got an email actually like a year ago or something where they said that we're gonna be closing down the PlayStation Store. I was like, whoa! So we can only get PlayStation games from like physical CDs or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Blu-rays. But then I think, did they eventually close it? Because I thought I got another mail where they're like, actually, never mind, we're just gonna keep it up.
Yeah, I heard that there was a lot of backlash for it, and they just brought it back or something, right? It's kind of a shame because even now you can't buy certain games from the PlayStation 3 store. I wanted to get this old PlayStation 1 classic. It's called Legacy of Kain something. It pretty much looks like God of War for the PlayStation 1, and I've always wanted to play it, right?
Sure.
And I can't because it's not available on the PlayStation store anymore. So
damn. Yeah, it was the same thing for me when I Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
I played the second game. And it was really, like, the story was really good, but it was kind of a long game. And then I wanted to know what happened after, because it's like Red Dead 2 is a prequel to the first one. And I had a PS3 at that time, and then I just bought the first game as a CD, because they didn't have it on the store.
Yeah.
So, and that was so worth, because the first game is so good. Like it's a really great game, and then I saw it had it on the PlayStation Store like a day after. I was like, okay, but it's more expensive. So
I was actually on the not on denial. Like I was Red Dead 1 came out in 2010. And I was much younger back then, and I refused to buy it because I'm like, no, it beat God of War 3 at the Game of the Year or something. Like, how dare you? Like, I'm never playing Red Dead, right? But I finally broke down and got it. I'm like, dude, this game is amazing. It totally deserved to win the Game of the Year because it was one of the first open world games that I truly loved. Like, dude, like, exploring everything is it's amazing.
Right.
Like, they did a good job. Yeah.
Like, I wonder how. So you played it right when it came out?
What, Red Dead?
Yeah, one.
Yeah, it was a couple months after it had come out, I think. Maybe a year after. 2011, maybe.
Okay, fair enough. Like, when are you from? Like, what is... where
am I from, or...
No, like, how old were you when you played it?
2010. I think I was 15 back then.
Okay.
I was still in high school, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because I wonder how the game is aging, because I played it when I was 23? Like, Christmas... 2 Christmases ago, and I'm 25 now. Because I played it like 10 years after it came out, right?
Right.
But after I'd played the second game, so it was like inherently much more interesting because I wanted to know what happened to the characters. Like.
Oh yeah, you actually played it chronologically, right? You played it
exactly.
I
did. Yeah. And it was like the first game was so interesting because of that. And like I wanted to know like what happened, and like you can visit the same terrain.
Yeah.
In like it's like mind blowing how they did all that in the second game, but I wonder if it would have been that interesting to me. Like with some of the characters that you meet is like, whoa, that's so deep what's happening in the first game, but they couldn't possibly have planned that if they didn't do all the world building concepting back then, which they couldn't have done. Like I don't understand how. Yeah, but no, the game is very deep. They might have written the
story before they made the first game, but
maybe
it's I don't know. The story's pretty good in the Red Dead games. I like it a lot.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, God of War right now is the one that I'm truly excited for. Like, we played Elden Ring. Now it's time to see what they do with God of War. Which
I am not done with Elden Ring yet. I gotta say, like.
Well, I'm not done either. But I mean, like the whole hype is starting to die down now. So it's like, now they need to move on to God of War, right?
Right.
But yeah. I think I asked you like, what is the thing you want to see the most in the game, and you said there's so many things, right?
Yeah, like the thing with Freya, I want to know how that whole like how's she dealing with that kind of grief, because like that's some heavy stuff. One thing that I always like kind of stood out to me as being kind of weird is that when they did playtesting, the whole thing of like Kratos being willing to sacrifice himself for Atreus.
Yeah.
A lot of playtesters didn't understand how that worked.
Yeah.
But like then they had Mimir say that, oh, you killed her son, or maybe that's a spoiler. Maybe you can edit that in post.
Dude,
but like,
it's quite late. Okay, it's if you
no, but like just
dude, I still get people commenting in my videos like, thanks a lot, you spoiled the game. Why are you watching a lore video 3 years after the game came out? What do you expect?
Exactly. Yeah, so like I don't know how people couldn't understand that. Like that's so established that like like a child is like the most sacred thing we have. Like so I don't understand how. Anyway, that's a tangent. Like I want to see how she's dealing with that kind of grief, and like what's Baldur's legacy gonna be for the next game.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna hear about Baldur more. Like I want to hear what Thor's opinion of Baldur is. Like something like really small like that. Because like it's like when Kratos and Atreus are crawling up and around Mimir and they're eavesdropping on their conversation, is like Baldur is the uncle of Magni and Modi.
Yeah.
It's like Magni and Modi are intimidating as hell, right?
Yeah.
Just because Kratos.
Imagine their father, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, but also like when they're walking away, Magni and Modi are just like, we're gonna come back for your other eye, and like remember we're everywhere. And Baldur's just like, shut up, you idiots! And he's like he's calling demigods idiots. Yeah. It's just like that, seeing that hierarchy, and I want to know like with Thor and Baldur. And I want to know Odin's opinion of Tyr, and I want to hear Tyr's opinion of the dwarves. I want to hear all of that kind of stuff. Like it's so interesting to me. I want to see all that stuff. And Freya, and Odin. I want to see them interact. And Freya and Thor. Like who knows what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
And Thor and Loki. Like That's gonna.
It's a new approach to. This is a new era in gaming in general. People are caring more about the stories than gameplay, and that's gonna have negative repercussions in the future. But for now, yeah, the story of God of War is like the thing people are most excited to see. Yeah.
How's that gonna have a negative repercussions?
In the sense that games are supposed to be games, I think the story is important, but the gameplay aspect of it has to be a little above the story. Like the story and gameplay go they're very close, right? Because if you're not doing something interesting in the story, you're just doing something. It could be a cool mechanic, but if the story's not there to justify it, it's not gonna be as fun. But if the mechanic is not fun, it's not really a game. So that's why you get games like the Telltale series. It's more like, you walk around, then you press a button, and then you go back to the story. It's like that's where I'm kind of seeing the negative the negative effects of focusing too much on the story. But I can see you disagree, so go for it.
No, I'm not you have a totally a point. Like you have. I think there's just like a spectrum of things. Like you have CS, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, or all the Counter-Strike games where the story doesn't matter, and that's incredibly valuable. Like we have like all these like tournaments that just like generate a whole lot of interest and enjoyment and entertainment and all that. And then you have, as you said, like Telltale games where they're just like satisfying the storytelling. And then if you want to get storytelling, you can watch a movie or you can read a book.
Exactly.
And if you want to be like into gameplay, you can play CS:GO, and it's like I think there's a space for everything. And when they get both things, when they try and do both at the same time and it works, it's just so beautiful. And I love it.
That's kind of why I like the new approach to God of War. Like it seems like they nailed both aspects like really well. Like the game is fun, but the story is also really good. So you kind of get like this seamless experience. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think about the combat in God of War?
The new one?
18. Yeah.
Oh, 2018. Yeah. It's definitely much slower than the other games in the series, but I would still call God of War an action game. I hate it when people call it a Dark Souls ripoff. Like this is nothing like Dark Souls, dude. You've never played a Dark Souls game. Like it's still very hack and slashy with the axe. There's more of a reactionary focus on it, where you have to pay attention to what the enemies are doing. You can't just go in guns blazing and all that. But I like it.
Right. Yeah, I like it too. I remember even Corey talking about this thing that I also noticed when I was playing. Like there's like when he swings the axe, it just also the thing with the axe being super satisfying and catching it. Like you can kind of feel it even though there isn't like vibration necessarily.
I think this is what you were gonna say, is that the axe gets stuck on the enemy for a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god, one frame. Dude.
It's innovative, and I appreciate that a lot. It's so cool to like try something like that, because if it's just like swaying through, it's just like be like 1,000-degree knife.
It feels weightless, but you feel like, and then you continue. So it's.
Yeah, I wonder how that feels on PC, because like PCs have like, or I don't know if God of War has that, but like 144 hertz capabilities.
I don't know. Like, God of War on PC is amazing. Like the frame rates are insane. You can actually play with mouse and keyboard. Obviously, it's really interesting playing with the axe.
Like I'm really curious about that, because on the PlayStation 4, I think there was only like 30 FPS. And
it was locked at 30. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a sucker for, like, I always choose higher performance over higher graphics,
resolution,
like every time.
Me too.
Yeah, there's no comparing it. I hate looking at like a slideshow. It's the worst thing ever.
Your eyes get used to it, but I do see, like, once you go 60, you can't go 30, baby. That's just
exactly. And once you go 144, you can't go 60. Like, it's another thing. Like when I paint on this tablet, right? In Photoshop, and it's like my monitor here is 144 hertz. And at school we have PCs to paint on and like do 3D on, and those monitors are 60. Yeah. And I like when I paint, it's like I can see the brush cursor. And it's like at school is like, and there's like a delay, but here's like, it's so smooth at home. And I like it's just like a pet peeve. It doesn't really do any difference in like the product. It's just my enjoyment. Right. And I wonder if, so my point was that when Kratos swings the axe, it stops for like 1 frame, I think.
It stops for a little bit. I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but yeah, it stops for 2 frames, maybe 1 frame.
Yeah, something really small. And I wonder if you can tell the difference on like 30 frames per second and 120 frames per second, or if that's just the same duration when you.
It feels the same. It's just it's scaled up or something. I just think that it's not the frame itself that stops. It's more like, I don't know, like the axe itself gets stuck. I don't know. I could be saying this wrong, but it's like the axe itself gets stuck a little bit, and it gives you like this, this realism feeling to it. It's like, oh, it's an axe. You have to just pull, right?
Right. This is like, it's kind of fun to talk about. Like, it's a huge, like, kind of maybe meaningless tangent, but it's like fun that they designed it that way. And I really like that. Like, hack and slash is, I don't know if I wouldn't say Dark Souls is hack and slash. Like, you can get some weapons that are a little bit rampagey.
But you have a stamina bar. I don't think you can call any game with a stamina bar a hack and slasher because you're given a limit on the hacking and slashing, right? So hack and slashing is more like Devil May Cry, old school God of War games. Like it's like you go crazy and do combos, right?
Exactly, but like I like whenever there's a game where you can do like there's Sekiro and there's like the Dark Souls games and they're like Witcher. I always love when there's like interactive gameplay, like where you can like the classic when someone's about to hit you and you can guard right at the second of impact and then you get an advantage.
Oh, like the parry, yeah.
Exactly, and that's like that parry where he like when you block something at the right moment and he like does this,
boom,
and then you knock him with the edge of the shield is like so satisfying, and they go flying across the room. And like it's like interactive is just so satisfying when you do it right, and also it's good that you get punished if you screw it up. So, I love that.
Well, dude, we could talk about God of War for hours. This is kind of why I decided to make this podcast thing. Because I just love geeking out just talking about it. Because I'm mostly just talking about theories and story, but I like talking about these details as well. But we'll start wrapping it up. But I just wanted to ask, like, obviously you're deep down a God of War fan. Like, do you plan on doing more God of War fan arts in the future? And, you know, do you have anything in mind? Because you said you're not completely done with the Thor one. I see the one in the back, or is that done?
I would say that's like it's a year and a half ago, but like I don't know if you can see that like behind my easel. There's like can you see that? Like there's a huge canvas.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so like I could go and get it, but I'm lazy. But like it's like a meter and a half times a meter or something. Like it's a huge canvas, like as tall as it's like a small woman. I don't know, but like. I would really like to do something like God of War related on that, like in oil painting, because I want a huge piece that could be like something I love. So I could do God of War for that, but like I'm definitely not done painting any of those characters. Like they're gonna live on for a long time. So, no.
And I'm really sorry, I completely forgot because we had planned like to show how you did the your art entry, but because of the whole camera, how it's set up, it's better if I just show you guys. So here it is. You're watching it now. He's gonna give me the footage later on. So here it is. This is how he did it. Do you want to explain like your process?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. So yeah, I just like I usually start with like a really like intuitive sketch to get the feeling right, and then when I'm like done sketching something, I'll usually try and get reference. And reference is like what we all use or all artists use to try and make sure that it looks right, and we can like tell what the scene is and get the details right and everything. So here in this image, I went into this program that we use at school called Maya, which is 3D software, so we can like put in the lights as we want them and get the camera right and the objects. And so I made the scene really, really primitively, and I put in the axe later as well, so I could get that perspective right and everything. And then I just start using that information with light and material sometimes I add as well. And then I just start rendering one character at a time, and I usually try and keep everything at the same level of render through the process. But sometimes it's good to start with the faces and then the hands, and then the rest. It's a really long process, but it's just about like my mentor once told me that you just like sometimes it feels overwhelming, but you just have to say to yourself that right now I have to render this bow as well as I can, and then after that I'll figure out something else. I'll pick another thing, and then you just do that until it's finished. And then, as you said, you leave some things unfinished or out of focus, and then you can plan for that as well, so you don't have to overwork your wrists and keep yourself.
Yeah, it seems very simple. Like after the product is done, but I imagine the amount of work that goes into it is insane, dude.
Yeah, I think I
forgot to ask you. I was gonna ask you. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
yeah. So I think like maybe put together, I spent maybe like 8 days, but it's like it's not 8 consecutive days. It's like after school hours, which is like at 4. And like weekends and stuff like that. It's probably like 8 days. I don't know how many hours that is. Maybe 50 or 40 hours on it. Something like that. But I enjoyed every hour of it because it's
That's awesome.
something I like to do. So.
Yeah, it was a fun experience for me as well. Like I got to know so many talented artists, man, and it's sad how underappreciated you guys are. Like you people are always asking you for a reduction price or something. It's like, no, dude, like this is very hard, but.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people say like, oh, it's like your hobby. It's like what you used to. It's like what you do to have fun. And it's like I do like to do it, but also like I can't be spending my time for free, and like it's work also. So you have to balance it. Have you ever done any like I know like because making YouTube videos and like creating like you are creating. So do you have any like creative like hobbies or interests or pursuits or anything?
The whole YouTuber thing, I just kind of felt upon this thing. I never really planned for it.
Okay.
I've had to learn how to edit myself and all that. My edits could still need some work, but I wouldn't call myself a very creative guy. And maybe like in storytelling, like I like more thinking about scenarios, how would that work and all that. Like that would be like the more creative side of me, but not really drawing. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid, but I think every kid goes through that. I had a booklet, and my dad actually gave me a picture the other day of like a cyclops I had made or something. So ever since I was a kid, I've always loved the mythological setting. It's just I loved it. Right? Yeah.
You should like maybe you could make a video on that, maybe showing art that you did.
I was actually thinking of maybe you'd want to do it in the future, but get an actual artist to compete with me. Like, how would you remake this kid drawing? And I'll try to do the same now, 26 years after. I'm like that sounds like such a fun stream to do. Like just
Yeah, I could critique it and then maybe abridge it and like do a little.
And dude, I'm sorry we did this out of order, but now that you said critique, it reminded me you wanted to talk about the other arts in the entries, like which ones, how would you rank them, how would you, because they might be looking for tips. I know you're not gonna focus on too much on the negatives, which I don't think there are, but.
Right, no, like I just wanted to like because as you said, like artists are underappreciated. I just wanted to like give huge kudos to the people that I saw. Like you uploaded like I think 10 of them or something on your Twitter.
Top 10,
those are the ones like the ones I could find, and like all of them are just so solid. And I love like.
What would you say is your favorite one? What would you say is your favorite one? Can you even say?
Yeah, I think I can say that it's probably gonna be either Bjorn. I think Bjorn, whereas like Kratos with the blades against Thor.
Yeah.
Or Roel Palapar. I don't know how to explain with the wolf because like it's so like that pose with like I think it's like this from your point of view, like Atreus is doing this.
Atreus, yeah.
It's like masterfully done and like it's so dynamic, and the wolf expression and the design. Like my wolf was just like I was trying to keep it in line with, even though I think I oversimplified Fenrir a little bit because I thought like God of War. It's simple and functional and rational, as you said.
Yeah.
And like at least Roel gave him like a giant eye. That's actually really cool now thinking of it because he's like friends with Tyr and all that.
Yeah.
But just like the cloth on the left from Roel and it's just so good, man. Like the pose is so dynamic and everything. That's a really really good one. So huge kudos to him for that. And then I would say, of course, Hader. The details out of and the tree in the background actually like there's something about that tree that's just so well done, like it's almost like impressionism the way he rendered the tree with like brushstrokes. It's like
I've talked to him a little bit more after this, and I keep telling him that his art just reminds me of the art style they use for a game called Blasphemous. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a 2D Dark Souls game clone. The art is amazing, and I don't mean clone in a negative way. I mean just it's a game that it's inspired by Dark Souls, right? But the art is so real look. It's so like it's realistic, but it's just done in such a dark and messed up way. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's like he loves like darker mood, and the scene he depicted is the death of Freya. You know, it's like it's not really fighting anyone. It's like something dark, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like even like it's somber and it's like sad. Like you can even see on Kratos, he's like, he's so depressed, man. It's such a great like,
His eyes are a little bit glossy, like he's about to cry or something. It's like, dude, there's so much emotion in that one, dude.
I'm just like zooming in on the wings now, like, Heider, you gotta like, you have to. I don't like it's your style and everything, but like, holy crap, man, you have to take care of your wrists because looking at this, it's like so much detail, and I don't know how can you manage it. It's insane.
Dude, he's gonna love this when he watches this. Like you geeking out over his art, man.
No, like he deserves it. It's just like it's a really great piece, and also like I was gonna say before, I'm a sucker for really somber and calm scenes. So like Oliver Yu with Mimir talking to Finn, like it's all Fenris stuff right now, but like Mimir talking, like Kratos holding Mimir up to talk to the wolf. It's such a quiet scene, and like he's obviously like not obvious, like his colors are gorgeous, and like looking at it now, it's like
I was gonna ask you because in the video I said that I don't know what type of art this is, but it kind of looks like he threw the paint there, and because it's kind of blotchy, but it's like a beautiful image came out of it, and I don't really know how he did it, right?
It's fun to gauge because I've been doing it for like 5 years now, and I like looking at this is like it's looking a little bit like me after like early in my what do you call it, my journey, but he's killing it, man. Like the colors are so good, like the rocks and everything, and the fur. Kratos is, it's hard to render something that's, or paint, sorry, it's hard to paint something that's far away and small in detail. So he could maybe keep that more simple, because that helps see what it is if it's just simple. Like the shoulder pad has a lot of texture on it,
right?
And maybe that isn't necessary for something that's really far away. But it's
something I sent in the videos. I would have liked for the image to be flipped. That way you can see like the red tattoo, and which is a big identifier, and it kind of jumps out more to it, right? Like that would have helped it a lot, right? But as it is, I think it's a beautiful piece.
I think maybe he did it this way because like there's something about, like in the Western world anyway, you read from left to right, and that means like it's often pleasing when you see a painting that I don't know if my thing is flipped, so maybe I should do it like that from left to right. I don't know, but like it doesn't matter. It's like it's often something is kind of eerie or uncomfortable about it if the main action in your painting is going counter to your reading direction, because it's kind of something's weird.
That
like
makes sense.
So if you're painting a hero character, you usually have them facing right, or like moving to the right, and the opposite for villains.
That's kind of what happened with my channel banner art right now. It was actually made by Hadir. I asked him if he could do it for me, and and we had that same issue. Yeah, Thor is depicted on the left, right, and Kratos on the right. And at first it might feel weird, but we wanted it that way because you can see the tattoo on the other side, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it's kind of jarring to see like why is Thor on the left side, but I never knew it's like because in the Western world we write like that, from left to right.
That's why.
Yeah,
that's a hard one, man. Because I would also say that Kratos should be on the left, but it's really well painted. Also, it looks really good. But dude, that's a hard one.
he laughed because when he sent me the draft, he showed me Thor, and he had done this little thing on Thor's nipple, like this little mole. Like, dude, you added a freaking mole to his nipple, like, dude, the attention to detail, man. It's just
that's
little
artistic.
Tiny,
artistic authority. You can do. Just push it. That's great. Oh, that's a great piece.
But yeah, man.
Oh, the way he did the clouds behind Thor and the flames behind Kratos, that's quality work.
Yeah. No, he's honestly, I like, again, I did not expect that many talented artists, like really talented artists to enter, and it's amazing seeing that you guys now follow each other and you like comment on their posts. Like you guys got to meet other artists as well. But
it's like a lot of really great work. I also love I think this is number 3, like 7 on Cat. I don't know what their name is, but that was the name
Cat
on
Lego, I think. I'm not sure.
Might be. Like it looks really like there's a lot, like it's heavy on line art, and the proportions are like really superhero, like really pushed proportions. Yeah. And it just looks really really cool. Yeah. It kind of like Hades. I don't know if I already said that, but like I love the style.
Oh yeah, like it's cell shaded, right? Well, Hades is cell shaded. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Like highly stylized, Yeah.
I think it is cell shaded. It's like you have one color and then you give it a shadow and a highlight. I think is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's Hades. But also a lot of really fun color, like dots of saturation where you wouldn't expect it, but that's like technical stuff.
You guys gave me a hard job. I did not expect it was going to be so hard to pick 10 out of all of the entries.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't me on that job.
Yeah.
Great work.
But dude, man, I do want to thank you for stopping by. Like we've been talking about it for a while, and that's kind of what happens with these things. We just start geeking out and just talking about God of War.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, at the moment, I'm showing this image of Surtur he's creating, or I don't think. Do you think you're gonna continue it? Is it just like that? He was thinking of drawing Surtur, right?
It was. Yeah, I was thinking of Surtur when I did this. So I wanted to do something lava-y, and then I just thought, oh, we haven't seen Surtur, and then I tried to make it like a quick design for him. It was something because in that Riot contest I won like an iPad, and like a thing a lot of artists are using now is like Procreate, which is on the iPad.
Oh, that's cool.
This piece is just something I tried to do to like customatize or like get used to using that Procreate, because like when I'm on the computer I have like this tablet and I have my keyboard for like shortcuts, and I use that a lot. So on the Procreate you only have like your fingers and then the pen, which is like a little more restrictive than I'm used to.
Yeah.
So that piece was just like I was trying to get better at using this thing.
Yeah.
I might finish it. I might because I never uploaded it anywhere, and it's kind
of.
Well,
I mean, as it is right now, it looks amazing. So congrats.
Thanks,
man. I told you he kind of reminds me of Ares a little bit with the flamed hair.
Yeah. I didn't.
I think you did it out subconsciously. You didn't even think about that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ares is a cool design. I love the flame hair. It's a really cool thing. But I tried to do it like his hair was like lava and it was like dripping down into the leg also, and yeah.
Dude, he's probably gonna be in the game, and I can't wait to see again like Raph's or the artist design, because again Raph is just directing everyone now. I don't know who's gonna make it right, but I'm sure it's gonna look amazing. Yeah. But dude, thank you so much for stopping by, man. I had a lot of fun. If anyone is watching this, I'm sure there's people watching, but for those of you who are interested in just getting any art done or something, you need a D&D character, you need to give someone some beautiful art, dude, just get in contact with this guy, okay? The links will be in the description below. He's not gonna let you down, man. Like anything you want to say to that dude, like any type of art you like to do personally, like what would you like to?
Well, like thanks for the compliment. Like first of all, that's huge. If you just like DM me or anything, you can like I have a price sheet that I can send you, and then I have like if you want a character with like just the character or a character with the background, and then I have like a rate next to it. Yeah. It's like I can. Maybe I should have just upload it. I don't know why I didn't do that.
I can be showing the price sheet right now if you want me to. Like I can edit it in if you want me to.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, because I'm not sure what procedure is or like etiquette is with that. But anybody, like feel very free to DM me, and like if you want anything done, I'm like pretty flexible with everything. Yeah. So feel free to DM.
But yeah, dude. Again, thank you so much for stopping by, and this was a fun conversation. We gotta have it again, dude. I'll see you again when you enter the contest. A future contest.
Thanks for the invitation, man. It was really fun. It's like so, like it's as I said when we did the pre-show. It was like it's so fun to hear you like interact with you. Yeah. Like this is like the first time I've ever like shown my face, I think, to my folks. So it's gonna be fun to see what that's.
Amazing job with the setup. I already told you that your setup looks amazing. Mine looks. Like I live in a abandoned bunker or something.
Well, you just moved, didn't you? So you have an excuse.
No.
Well, okay.
I moved a while ago, and I used that excuse for a while, but I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this thing.
But like, for this, I cleaned up, so like, it doesn't. It's usually like the same deal, so don't feel too bad.
All right. So. Well, then, thanks again for stopping by, and guys, just follow him. You know, if you don't want any art, follow him anyway. Like he does amazing art, and you get to see him all on his Twitter, and his Twitter and Instagram. So just go and give this guy a follow, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Until then, remember. Oh, I've got my channels mixed up. Shit. Until then, remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.